Well, good morning and welcome to lesson 94. I am as God created me. This is one of the beautiful lessons that states the truth about yourself, and it's like a declaration. It's got a bit of a wobbly thing there. In essence, it's making a declaration of your truth. I am as God created me. And then as you do this lesson, apart from the application of the lesson, as you attempt to carry it with you throughout the day, it'll become apparent to you how many things show up, well, in fact, everything that the body's eye sees as a form of temptation not to believe the truth about yourself that this lesson is offering you today. So let's get started. I am as God created me, lesson 94, and again from the White Edition. Today we continue with the one idea which brings complete salvation, the one statement which makes all forms of temptation powerless, the one thought which renders the ego silent and entirely undone. You are as God created you. The sounds of this world are still. The sights of this world disappear, and all the thoughts that this world ever held are wiped away by this one idea. Here is salvation accomplished. Here is sanity restored. And I love that, where are we? The sights of this world disappear. That's a literal occurrence. Right? In the acceptance of the truth of this idea today, when your mind truly accepts it at that base level, at that I don't even know how to describe it, at that place where there's no alternative to that, the sights of the world disappear. And in the experience of my enlightenment that happened to me in 1997, I was looking at a group of people at the time who suddenly vanished, and then I could see a blank wall behind them, which then vanished, and I could see the world beyond, the buildings and houses and everything. That all disappeared, and then my body vanished, and I found myself back in eternity. So that's a literal disappearing of the sights of the world. And I know that's a lot to take on board and a lot to believe, but remember, belief is not required, simply the application of these lessons. Okay, we're talking about a complete transcendental shift in consciousness here, or a complete shift out of consciousness into the entirety or the wholeness of mind as one experience of itself. True light is strength, and strength is sinlessness. If you remain as God created you, you must be strong and light must be in you. He who ensured your sinlessness must be the guarantee of strength and light as well. You are as God created you. Darkness cannot obscure the glory of the Son of God. You stand in light, strong in the sinlessness in which you were created and in which you remain throughout eternity. Today we will again devote the first 5 minutes of each waking hour to the attempt to feel the truth in you. Begin these times of searching with these words: I am as God created me. I am his son eternally. And in that, the attempt to feel the truth in you, there's a thing that happens, okay? So in meditation, when you enter into those moments of stillness in the mind, not allowing interfering thoughts to distract you from the here and the now, from the I am, okay, and that's you'll get to that later in the book. In the last 5-10 lessons in the book, I think it's we say God is, or I am, and then we cease to speak. Right? But all of these lessons are inviting you into a sense or into a moment of stillness, and in that moment, as that moment becomes, let's say, true, or I'm talking about an action that happens in the mind here. It's very, very difficult to find words for it. But I know I've spoken about this in an earlier lesson, but there is a feeling. It's almost like you're being sucked out. It's almost like there's a or a whoosh. There's something that happens in the mind. You can feel it. There's a little pre-light moment there of a sense or a feeling of something happening that's not in alignment with regular nature of what you think's going on in all those meaningless thoughts that are just chit-chatting around in there. Okay, so today we will Again, devote the first 5 minutes of each waking hour to the attempt to feel the truth in you. Begin these times of searching with these words. I am as God created me. I am his son eternally. All right, by now you've got to have a sense of just how awesome and how beyond and all-encompassing that this course is. Okay, it takes you out of the temporal order completely. Like even the concepts of it are not of the world. Okay, there's a divinity, a true divinity. I mean, try to get a sense of that. Try to get a sense of how of the magnitude of how vast. You know, the conceptual mind cannot possibly grasp it because the conceptual mind is the idea of limitation. But you can begin to appreciate that this is beyond what can be understood by the conceptual mind. Okay, which is why it's a path of faith. Now try to reach the Son of God in you. Holy crap, try to reach the Son of God in you. This is the self that never sinned, nor made an image to replace reality. This is the self which never left its home in God, to walk the world uncertainly. This is the self which knows no fear, nor could conceive of loss or suffering or death. Nothing is required of you to reach this goal except to lay all idols and self-images aside. Go past the long list of attributes, both good and bad, you have ascribed to yourself, and wait in silent expectancy for the truth. Wait in silent expectancy for the truth. God has himself promised that it will be revealed to all who ask for it. You are asking now. You cannot fail because he cannot fail. Okay? Even the idea that you're doing this workbook lessons shows that you have a little willingness, and that little willingness is your asking. But it's like that honesty and that integrity. It's like you can only serve one master. You can't serve both. There has to be this kind of understanding or this, well, it is a willingness to have one purpose and one purpose only. Okay? Remember we did in the 60s, in those 60s lessons that I have one function. Okay? If you think there's still something out in the world that you have to fulfill that is somehow separate from this, then go and either do that or drop it. Get it out of the way or forget about it. You cannot fail because he cannot fail. If you do not meet the requirement of practicing for the first 5 minutes every hour, at least remind yourself hourly, I am as God created me, I am his son eternally. Tell yourself frequently today that you are as God created you, and be sure to respond to anyone who seems to irritate you with these words. You are as God created you, you are his son eternally. Make every effort to do the hourly exercises today. Each one you do will be a giant stride forward toward your release, and a milestone in learning the thought system which this course sets forth. Incredible. A milestone. It just blows me away all the time. It's like if I hadn't had the experience, if I had not already experienced the enlightenment or the illumination of my mind, direct union with God, like I and he and me, everything is one, I would have nothing but faith. Okay, and I would have nothing but the witness of others like myself now, who had also had that experience, okay, which are in this world at this time in 2021, it seems to be reasonably few and far between. So it does say in the course too that if you have a brief experience of direct union with God, you know, that this is so rare that if it happens, so be it. If it doesn't happen, so be it as well. But to enter into those moments of invisibility where everything vanishes, that's possible. There are many, many experiences through this course, revelatory and miraculous and everything like that, that will show you the nature of the fact that there is no world. But the one that we are striving for, I guess, or the one that we are endeavoring to pursue is our enlightenment, the full illumination, the full awakening of our mind. Okay, now, for most people that happens incrementally. You have what we call in the course here holy instants, which are accumulative. You have a little glimpse of light, a little glimpse of light, a little glimpse of light. Every time you have one of those glimpses of light, whether in connection with the true seeing or the true vision, in relationship with another brother or another living thing, or whether in your meditative efforts, they accumulate and bear a witness, a strengthening witness each time, until your mind becomes ready and capable, I guess, of being able to maintain the integrity to inner peace and sanity and truth that is required, not to squander the inheritance of the memory of God in you when it dawns upon your mind. And I got to be honest here. I don't know that I'm 100% accurate in that saying, but having had a top-down experience, having had a top-down enlightenment, I had enlightenment first, and then am going through the transformation, right, which is to date 25 odd years. But in my association with many, many other individuals who have been doing this course, and of course we share our stories of revelation and things like that, I've pieced together much of the nature of a very general picture of what salvation seems to be, as an idea of sharing a witnessing to the truth as we go through the particulars of our own undoing. And I've got to say that also that picturing is fairly uncompromisable. It's completely, the experience is uncompromisable, but the picturing of the nature of transition is fairly solid at this stage, which I attribute to allowing for a vulnerability of my perspective and my perception with things based on the interaction with others and revelatory experiences that I've had. All right, so if any correction is to be made, it gets made. And to date, it's been some time since any corrective shift in perception or understanding regarding the nature of atonement has occurred in me. Of course, in the beginning years, it was all the time. You're always picking up this book going, holy cow, that changes everything. Or talking to somebody else, and then all of a sudden a light bulb goes and you go, oh, there we go, there's another thing. Anyway, that was 94. So, and then tomorrow, 95, I am one self united with my Creator. Okay, I love you. See you soon.